Hello, my name is Ed and I'm with Woodcraft in San Carlos. Today we're going to talk about the importance of dust collection and the difference from dust collection and air filtration, as they are both a little bit different. Before we talk about the actual collecting of it, let's talk a little bit about wood. There's shavings, there's chips, there's sawdust, and fine wood powder, which is the most dangerous of all of these. Shavings are the most difficult wood to collect. They're the biggest. They come from hand tools, from power cutters. They accumulate quickly and occupy a large volume. So we need to get those collected. They're the hardest to collect, so you want to put that machine closest to your dust collector for the most draw. Chips are a little easier to collect. They're produced by cutting tools like hand saws, boring tools, and routers. They're easier for the collector to pick up because they're smaller and lighter, and they're going to flow through the tubes a little bit easier. They do need to be removed from the machine, so if you don't hook up the dust collector, the problem is those chips are just going to keep going around in the cutter head. They're going to keep cutting, and it's going to be a less efficient machine unless you pull those out of there. So although we think we're just collecting a pile, we're actually slowing the machine down. Sawdust and fine wood powder are the most hazardous of all wood products. Many woods cause respiratory problems, cause eye and skin irritations, and I know I have them. Sometimes I don't think it's from the wood, but it probably is. A micron is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. This is the measurement of fine particles. If you shine a light in your shop and you see particles floating around, those are about 20 microns or larger. The microns that are going to hurt us are 10 microns or less, and those come from sanding. They come from the smaller dust, and that dust gets through your lungs and settles in the bottom of your lungs, which is obviously the main problem. So that brings us into the risk of dust. I have to tell you that 7 out of 10,000 woodworkers are going to get nasal cancer. It's really a bad thing. Doesn't seem like a big number, but half of the nasal cancer in the world are by woodworkers. So although you think you're just sanding a little bit and you're cool, you don't need your mask, that is not a true statement. You need your mask when you're in the wood shop. So let's go a little bit. A question I get a lot down in the store is the difference between dust collection and air filtration. Those are the main two ways to get this stuff out of your shop. The difference between air filtration and dust collection through a dust system. Dust in the air means the dust is not getting captured properly. The air filtration system is circulating the air. So that air is going through your air filtration system over and over, being screened by several different filters. The dust collection is pulling it from your machine into a bag. So both of those are quite important. The filter types are different, and some are easier, some are harder. So as you're buying your filtration and or your dust collection, you want to try to get a modern one that is easy to empty or easy to change the filters. That's going to make your job a lot easier. Now there are different types of dust collectors, as we have over here. We have our portable shop vacuum. We know that we bring that around. It's easy to move around our shop. We have a single stage dust collector, and there's a 2-stage dust collector. The single stage dust collector will provide the needed power to pull from all your machines. It's just fine. They can collect a large volume of dust and chips. They also have the ability to hook up to all your machines. Some collectors could be cumbersome, so remember to put those in an area that are easy to get to and to change, as I said. A 2-stage dust collector is a little bit different. It includes a cyclone. And some of you may know a cyclone is going to pull out the big chips into a separate container where the smaller chips are going to go into your bag. so it's easier and you're gonna not have to empty the bag quite as often. They also can be hooked up to all your machines. The filters are gonna last a whole lot longer because you're pulling the big chips out before it goes through the filter. So that's a nice addition. Obviously, the differences here are dollars. So the portable shop vac, you really can't hook that 2.5 inch up to your 4-inch table saw. There's not enough pull to get the big chips out. It will pull some of the small stuff. It's really not ideal. Single stage should work all your machines. The 2-stage is going to work all your machines and be nicer to you. It'll be easier for you to collect it. So we talked about the air filtration system and how important it is to get the fine wood powder dust out of the air. I brought this down so we can get a good example of it. The nice thing about this unit is it's got a timer for 4 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, or a half hour. So you can run it while you're in your shop, and even when you leave, it'll run for another hour. We want to keep that air circulating, running through the filters and back out as clean air. These filters are easy to change. You just pop them out. This one is washable. This one pops out. Look at all the stuff that we know where that could have ended up. This lasts a long time. You can shake it out. You can vacuum it. Also, we sell new ones of these, and that's generally what people do when it gets too dusty. They'll just change this out. Filters are $30 or $40. This is washable. And again, this will be hanging right in the center of your shop. Our shop is used quite a bit as a classroom and for some personal use, so this gets a lot of use and we're thankful that it's here. It's hanging up here, we can just turn it on and off, so you're not climbing up on a ladder every time you need it. As I said earlier, dust collection location is critically important. We have our 2-stage with the cyclone down here. It has a filter which you'll rotate around to unclog it in between uses. That'll drop the small particles. The big particles will go in here. This is easy to empty. We have our sawdust bin right here. We put all our sawdust in here, and then that'll go out once a week. Consider the level noise. We're upstairs here in our classroom, but when you're next to your neighbor, if you put this outside on the side of your house, you're gonna make your neighbor move. It's gonna be quite loud. So put it in a safe space in your house. It's not too loud. Some people do some noise protection around it. When you're placing your gates, try to have your tube go directly in. You can't always have that, obviously. Here we have 45s. Sometimes you need a 90, which we really don't like. We need the flow to go in the direction of the pull, and that is going to make the big difference. The less amount of ductwork that you have, the more efficient your machine is going to be. If you notice, we have our jointer and our planer right next to our dust collector. And as we work our way down, the tools are producing less and less dust. From there, a flexible hose can go to your tool. And you'll want to clamp the hose however you're going to do it. We have spring clamps, screw clamps, finger tightening clamps, a lot of ways to do it, and that will keep this from popping off. When you're using your system, like in our shop, we want to make sure all of the gates are closed except the one we're using. If you have extra gates open, the draw is just going to be dramatically less. Something that I have to point out is that static electricity can build up in dust collection. If you have a large volume of wood shavings going through plastic tubes at a rapid rate, you can build up static electricity. So the way to not let that happen is to ground your pipes all the way through. And if you do that, you will not have any static electricity. On another note, we're really talking about large volumes. Generally, home shops and small shops aren't going to suck enough dust fast enough to create that, but that is a possibility, and that's the way around it. Okay, let's move on to improving your system. You already have your system in. You're having a little problem here and there. Mostly you're not going to get enough draw. So let's say we're not getting enough draw from our planer, which does produce quite a bit. What I would do is I would come over here, unhook this, and feel for my pull. If I have pull here, there's a problem in the hose or somewhere here. Maybe this just has to be redesigned a little bit. It's better if you're going to have a reducer to have it next to your tool. So if your tool is using a 2.5 inch port and you're going into 4, put the 4 to 2.5 here, which hopefully is not on your planer, but 4 to 2.5 here, and then run it in that way. That's going to get you a better pull. If you're using your table saw, it's nice to have a zero clearance throat plate. That will keep all of the dust pulling down. That will help. And on your router, try to have the right ring as small to your router bit as possible, and that will keep the dust from coming up, so you can collect it up and down. Well, I hope this demonstration was good for you. Hopefully it helps you with either getting a new system, fixing your system, understanding the difference of shavings, chips, and sawdust. Remember to wear your mask. Also the difference from a single stage and a 2-stage. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you at the store, and happy to give you as much advice as you like. Thank you.